Greetings, friends. I want to talk to you about coincidence with relationship to God. Someone once said that coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. A few years ago, back in 1994, I was driving my car down the highway and I had an encounter with God. I was driving down the road by myself on Interstate I-95, and all of a sudden this gibberish started coming out of my mouth. I thought I was having a nervous breakdown. I couldn't stop it. I was crying. I was crying out to the Lord. I was saying, Lord, what is this? I couldn't stop it. It was just so weird. And so finally, after maybe a half hour of this, I said to the Lord, if this is real, whatever this is, you got to give me a sign. I said, let the next number I see on the highway be a 5. So 55 miles an hour, Interstate 95, milepost 55, exit 55. I saw more 5s than I could imagine. And I said, okay, Lord, look, I need another sign. Let the next car that passes me have a 2 in the license plate. So I slowed down. The next car that would pass had 222 in the license plates, 3 2s in a row. And I knew that this encounter that I was having in my car, whatever it was from God, because it was so profound. When I asked the Lord to give me a sign, 222 in the license plate, just think of the odds of that, the next car. And so all of a sudden I realized in that moment that now I'm going back to a church, a Lutheran church, a Missouri Synod Lutheran church, where whatever this was probably not going to be acceptable. And also I had an ex-Southern Baptist wife, and I thought, Rivers, that this is probably going to be hard for her to swallow, whatever it is. And it was. It was for both of them. And it was a journey. But you understand it, when God shows up in your life, it's going to always be disruptive. That's the way God operates. Think about Jesus Christ. He showed up and disrupted the church, disrupted the community, disrupted the synagogues. They were going to, in fact, they did. They killed him, didn't they? That's how disruptive it is when Jesus shows up in your life. That's what happened to me in my car. He showed up, kind of got me by the back of the neck, convinced me that whatever this is was going to be a paradigm shift for me. It was going to be disruptive, but in my spirit, I had a sense that it was going to be okay, whatever this was. I had no point of reference for what happened to me in my car in 1994. I didn't know what this was. But I knew in my spirit that it was from God, and he confirmed it with a sign, which tells me that it's okay to ask the Lord for signs. I mean, it's all through the Bible. People are asking the Lord for signs. Think of Gideon. He asked the Lord for several signs, and the Lord met him in that place to show him it was God speaking into his life. It's okay. So, years later, I'm talking to my nephew who's a lawyer, and I'm going to create a nonprofit. And so we were talking about different names and that. So Rev 222, a lot of people call me Rev because I'm a reverend. 222, the license plate. So I said, just see if there's a Rev 222. And he looked and came back and said, no, there's no nonprofit called Rev 222. So that's what I chose to be my nonprofit. Rev 222. R-E-V, Rev 222. That's my license plate. If you look at the license plate of my car, it's Rev 222. So I pulled into a McDonald's and I went in to get something and came out. And as I'm walking out, a man was sitting there and he said, is that Rev 222? Is that Revelations 22:2 or 2:22? And I said, oh, no, it's neither of those. It's neither of those. It's something else. And I left. And I got to thinking about it. So I looked up Revelation 22, verse 2. And look at what it says. In the middle of the street and on either side of the river was the tree of life, which bore 12 fruits, each tree yielding its fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. Think about it for just a moment. I have a healing deliverance ministry. Rev 222 is my nonprofit. But if you go to Rev 22, verse 2, it talks about healing to the nations. And I can only tell you, when I saw that passage, I realized instantly that was God's way of remaining anonymous, giving me a Rev 222, which really spoke to the heart of what my ministry was. Now I looked up Rev 2, verse 22, Revelation 2, verse 22. And it talks about a woman and her children perishing because of their sin and evilness. They were dying. So it's almost the antithesis. In 2:22, it talks about turn from your ways or you're going to die. Or 22:2, the healing tree for the nations, where healing was taking place through this river that flowed through heaven. That, to me, Paul Teske, is God's way of remaining anonymous. There's no coincidence in this. He gave me a name for my 501c3, Rev 222, to remind me and others, hopefully, about a God who heals, not just individuals, but a healing message to the nations. And really, I just want you to understand, with God, there is no coincidence. It's just his way of remaining anonymous. And I give God the glory. When I kind of bring the pieces of the puzzle together and realize what's going on, I thank God. He's not a God of mystery only. He's a God of excitement, awe, and revelation, and revealing. A way of remaining anonymous to God is allowing us to revel in his greatness. So anyway, I just wanted to share this with you. It's a little vignette that I thought might be of interest to you. I hope it's blessed you. If you want to reach out to me, hit the comment button on Facebook. I'll get back to you. If you want to send me a prayer request, go to paulteskeministries.com, hit the prayer button. I'll answer those prayer requests. I get them every day from all over the world. We're reaching over 45 countries. We have a big reach now in the Middle East and in Southwest Asia, where people are reaching out to people. So listen, I want you to be blessed in hearing this message. Go to my YouTube page. Paul Teske Ministries is a YouTube page with a library of teaching and testimonies for you. So again, I'm doing this because I love you and I want to encourage you and I want you to go in peace and serve the Lord. Amen? And all God's people said, amen.